You might have woke up this morning and thought this was like any other Wednesday, but it's not. You're getting treated to a full 3-map series in the El Clasico of European Valorant, right? We've got Liquid, we've got FNATIC, and we're going to a third map. That sounds like a recipe to one hell of a series, if you ask me. Now, we've seen a good look out of both of these teams so far, right? Liquid digging deep to make it happen back on Bind. How are we feeling as we head into Haven, Lothar? Are we going to see, you know, this kind of same team comp that we've been getting out of the TL guys? Thus far, it's been pretty much unchanged, but are we going to have some alterations coming through now?
It's so funny to talk about, you know, maps in general, because there's a lot of history when it comes to both those teams playing Haven before the patch. But I feel like that's thrown out of the window. After the patch, we have essentially a new game where teams have to innovate. They have to feel comfortable with a completely new setup. And so far on this patch, we have only seen both Liquid and FNATIC play on Haven only once. So when it comes to Liquid, they played Breach Sky composition. And I wonder, will they play that again? Because as I said before, they were just trying to brute force their opponents on the Haven with those amount of flashes, and it was semi-successful. It didn't feel for sure like it was consistent. It didn't feel I didn't feel like any confidence coming from Liquid when it comes to when they were playing both on Haven and Ascent with this composition, and that's gonna be a very big question mark. And when it comes to FNATIC, on Haven they played Astra, Cypher, Jet, Phoenix, Sova. So 2 duelist comp so far, and this is the reason why is because Haven has a lot of orb control open towards the attackers. They have an easy access to that C-long orb, right? And the A orb is also like semi-open to the attackers as well if you take early control of that long. So you can see why those two teams are like trying to approach the map differently, but how it will be effective, as this is only the second time we're gonna see both teams on Haven, I'm just curious what it will be.
Yeah, well, you know, looking at FNATIC then on the other side, obviously for these guys, they're kind of in like a polar opposite scenario to Liquid in that FNATIC came into today winning the map pick of TL. Things were initially looking really quite good, right? Scream was having a slow start to the day. It wasn't really meshing together how Liquid wanted. FNATIC were probably feeling pretty good heading into Bind. Now all of that has been stripped away, and now it truly is anyone's game. So for FNATIC, as we get into crunch time, who should I be keeping an eye on, Hyde Park?
I think for me, particularly coming to Haven in terms of my agent expectations, I'm looking towards Durka and Doma. Again, for me, it needs to be a little bit of a change of pace on the side of FNATIC. In that previous, it was a kind of very methodical in approach, right, with that composition. I'm expecting a little more reactive play on Haven just because we know those rotation timings and how quickly you need to pivot away. It's typically why we've seen Boaster in recent matchups obviously move towards the Astra, so they have that kind of opportunity with those mid-round calls, right, to completely switch things up.
Well, you know, agent select is one of our favorite parts. Lothar always gets excited. He always gets this look in his eye when the agent screen comes up. I can tell he's happy and he's excited. So let's take a look at what we are going to get here. Scream immediately back on the Jet Life. No surprises there. Durka's going to take one for FNATIC. You wanted to see something, you know, a little more aggression out of them. That could be how they bring that heat.
This is just it. I'm going to ignore the hover on the right side of the screen because we're not allowed to talk about that yet. Don't know who that is. But yeah, previously, obviously against G2, looking back, the composition was this Jet and Phoenix on the side of Durka and Doma. Now, Mystic hovering's got me wondering because previously it would have been Boaster on the Astra and Mystic on the Sova. So I'll be interested to see how that closed out. No real surprises on the side of Liquid, to be honest. Well, actually adopting the double flash here again, and this is all to build around Scream, right? Soulcast can be a little more self-sufficient now with these changes, but this is all to just be enabling Scream, right? Putting him in the position to do work.
Yeah, that is correct. And the important thing is that they play that double flashes because they want to brute force their way, right? But as I said, I didn't feel like they were comfortable with that with that setting. But FNATIC, let's take a look at that side. Like Mystic on the Omen, right? And now when it comes to Boaster, he is on a Sova instead of an Astra. So that's a very big difference. Astra was the lurk for Boaster, right? Yeah. That was the way he was playing on attack. Now that's not going to be possible. The Sova cannot afford to be a lurker in the team. So Mystic is going to be that one. So it's a big change for FNATIC, for sure.
Yeah, right. I mean, I've always known Boaster as this Astra player here. So this has got me excited. Let's get ready then, because this game is about to begin. The third map, it's Haven, FNATIC taking on Team Liquid, and the ever wonderful Hypoc and Pansy to take us into game.
Thank you so much. And yeah, what a way to lead into this final map between these two. Now, we have seen this in the past, right? Roll your minds back to the final that, you know, took them into Iceland when these two met for that first time. We got to really see the longevity of this potential rivalry building. And this was the first map they played, and it was a stomping 13-3 in favor to FNATIC. But that was a different time, it almost feels like. Completely different agents being rolled around here, Hypoc. And now with those adjustments, we've seen Reykjavik, we've seen everything since then, the time in between, the patch change. How do you think this changes now looking at this match? How do you think that's going to adjust? Because that was the first time we were really looking at, I think it was when we started to see Durka coming into his own. I think he was on a Sage of all things. It was a very different look, right? So this is a bit of a different game here.
It wasn't it. I feel as if we could talk blank canvas here in terms of composition. We're kind of night and day from what we saw in the previous match off between these two. Again, obviously the same thing you can say on the other side of things, right? Scream coming back away from that Sage pick for Liquid previously.
Yes.
And I want to say it was one of the first times at least we saw Yampi flex onto the Killjoy against I'd say a more capable team, right? We saw Liquid kind of toy with it with a couple of other teams, but again, I think just getting shut out like that was kind of going to send Liquid always back to the drawing board in terms of that composition, particularly against FNATIC, right? And we talk about kind of stylistic matchups. Some things just don't work, right?
Yep.
And I think this here is probably a much better look in terms of Liquid. Like I said, with Scream having the day he's had, to see them still double down this composition to really try and enable him here, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I think the commitment to this, I do want to see how it now pans out, right? This is the third map, this is crunch time. And if you're wondering why it's on us for a little bit longer, one of the FNATIC players is just having a mouse issue, so hopefully they can just switch into a spare, get everything fixed up. Don't worry, we're actually not delaying the game starting, it's one of the players, so bear with us. Or just yell at us in chat, it's fine. I don't mind
Scream
either way.
into the abyss.
Why do you attack me in this way? It's what I do, all right? You know, that I just spam the little emote, you know, why people happy, and people put it back. It brings me joy, all right? That's all I need. But yeah, let's kind of then, prediction-wise, does this change your mind? Now we've seen kind of the first glimpse of the two maps. Does this kind of adjust your expectations, or are you still kind of just waiting to see? I know that's such a sitting on the fence sort of question, but I wouldn't blame you. We've seen, you know, good and bad from both sides. We've seen some players step up and then also have a quiet map or two or one and then have a very on map. So it's very hard to kind of judge where we're at. And I mean, we're seeing Phoenixes coming out. This is going to be such a different affair to even the previous statistics we've looked at.
Yeah, I think in terms of forgetting about Bind and moving on, this is a good opportunity for FNATIC to now lean back to maybe a little more of a comfort zone on Haven in particular, because like I said, they looked like they were struggling to kind of fill that gap, as you put it during the cast, right, of getting those early round wins, you know, the early win conditions online for them, and then not being able to kind of follow through on that. This composition here is going to be... Actually, it's going to flip it back in favor of FNATIC in terms of Liquid are going to have to take away some key learnings from these early rounds of how FNATIC want to play with this composition. It's going to be a completely different pace change, and I'm hoping FNATIC can come out of the gate swinging here.
We'll have to see. Again, it seems the issue has slowly begun to resolve. I'm seeing the timer tick down in game, so thank you for bearing with us. I appreciate your patience. I'm sure none of you were, as said, reeing in chat or any of the such, so we can now focus on the game in front of us. Team Liquid against FNATIC. This map has been a hard one to characterize because, as said, we've seen it go drastically to FNATIC, but I feel as though Liquid are a different team right now. But let's find out, as already Durka trying to draw first blood, but it's Soulcast to get not one, but two.
What? Already got himself a pistol ace today, and I'm going to open this one up as well. Scream. Close out Doma as well, so straight away this early aggression from FNATIC. Fact finders, so to say. Gonna get stomped out. Steven 2 left, and both are gonna find the first two, but there you go, Soulcast and Yampi will swing through and close that out rather convincingly, honestly. I mean, numbers advantage. A little too much for FNATIC to deal with there.
Yep.
Didn't even come down to a spike plant conclusion anyway, but Soulcast, again, opening things up. Again, somebody said he'd already got, I think it was Harry, right? Said he'd already passed 50 kills in the series. I was like, yeah, okay, actually, that kind of makes sense. I want to see where he ends up on headshot percentage. The kill feed, you only see Soulcast's name with the headshot icon next to it today.
It's super sharp. Who's going to be on the receiving end of this? It's kind of that mirrored. Okay, well, we're going to just completely go towards A, and the follow up. It's that Sova towards shot. Oh, Boaster, do him dirty. Go on, get some. Ah, Yampy was right there. No fun to be had. Now, it will be a quick flank coming out from FNATIC, and keep in mind, because of the economy, we can't quite see it right now. The guns aren't up on the UI, but they will be soon enough, I'm sure. It's going to be a weaker investment, if anything at all. We saw like a shorty there, right? So it's like they had to get a little cheesy, try something out. You're not going to convert those traditionally. You're up against way better weaponry. This could be time for Cryptics to go farming, or just get right-click to absolute pieces. Now, damage has been achieved. It's now the next step. If they get it to a 2v2, then that could have been game on, but no. Scream's keeping this one safe.
Bolt line going to flush him out of that corner here, but again, Liquid just need to keep Doma contained here. Don't give away any more kills. I mean, Soulcast, the one you would probably want to look for to get this closing kill. Get the Seekers online, but Link will take it away now. And see if actually in the early round, Soulcast is going to make a play for an orb, because Seekers, big ultimate to get online, especially if you're going to ride through some Spectres here. Close that distance. It can be a real game changer in terms of getting it online nice and early, because we know it's such a low ultimate count for it. And already doing the work here. Could be a good one to ride through on this bonus.
Yeah, it's... I'll be
Straight
interested
on
to
the
see how it
Vandal. I
looks.
love that from Soulcast.
Fair enough. Let's have a look. I mean, I want to see what he does with this. If he's feeling himself a double stack towards long for FNATIC, though.
Cover going out.
I already see Yampy on the TP across. So he's going to build towards sewer. Soulcast showing presence towards middle. No subtlety to it, but the camera, it's no threat to Magnum yet. He's fine sitting back there, and he's a man of patience, you know. I always think of Icebox now and him catching those mid-rotations. He plays his timing really well, so I don't worry too much about him when it comes to just feeling out the pressure. He does have Boaster by his side in the connector, so all somewhat okay so far. Not going to go in. Magnum gonna have some of that util potentially cleared out, but no, it actually maintains pretty well. Boaster now pushed away as well. Lots of util being invested, but not much of a commitment of players.
I guess you have to reset a little bit, get that heal off of Soulcast, and looks like they're going to drift towards A site. Now, Durka got himself tucked in behind bricks here, and Boaster now coming through. Look at that, Durka going to open things up. 2 headshots to open this round. Boaster going to follow through as well. Yampy will fall, and just Cryptics and Link left here to try and recover this round for Liquid.
Hey, look, this is what we want to see. I missed Durka on that previous map. He looked like he wasn't even there. It wasn't the Durka that we know, and this is. He's dominating these angles, just keeping him down in the sewers, unable to break out. 3 players locking this poor old Link into this. I mean, he can try and do some damage to see what he can get out of this. Oh, he's being toyed with all these angles. This could be a pickup. No, Doma, all controlled, and 5 alive Hypoc. That's really important here.
Yeah, it's big to squash that one out with a flawless round victory for FNATIC. I think actually, yeah, Soulcast had already got a couple of kills on the board, and I think had gone untagged in the second. So the fact that he was able to ride through the Vandal makes me feel as if Liquid are going to still be sitting pretty comfortable here. And actually, yeah, Yampy going to get the operator online. So sitting pretty flush, but a combined 1,500 credits left in the bank after this. Could be a pivotal round here for FNATIC to maybe build a little momentum back into this.
Wait and see. Yampy finding Mystic. That's the start. That draws blood, and I want to see if it pulls a rotation. It's a lot of faith in one touch of utility, and now they have to respect it. They have to respond accordingly. Soulcast does have the Seekers to play down. Dr. Follow doesn't go for the flash instead. Gonna know there's one towards window, might set up the jet to walk in towards it. Soulcast actually going towards site. That's nice. That's gonna find the information that's caused these rotations. They now know what's here, but it's 3 players here. Scream up and over, eating that flash. He's in trouble now. They're all gonna swarm it, but Liquid maintain positioning. They find all 3 and clear out the back of C. It's all theirs. Durka is so far away, he can't change any part of this.
Actually, Liquid on the brink of responding with a flawless round victory of their own. Durka left to pick up the pieces here. Liquid just delaying this spike plant as long as possible. Waiting for Durka to show his hand.
Planted.
Look at it here. I mean, Link's now got the Rolling Thunder online. And actually, on the side of FNATIC, I mean, Durka one away from the Blade Storm. If he can get a kill here, and potentially even if he falls, an opportunity to maybe invest that in the next round with the lesser purchase that FNATIC will have, but we have to wait and see. Again, I gotta say, I mean, we talk about Yampy and just being unorthodox. I mean, previously talking about him running the operator on the Killjoy. Again, coming into this one after the Sova operator picks earlier. Now on the Omen. It's been a long time since we've seen an Omen running an operator. In fact, I actually think it was Eccles, right? Eccles way back in the day was the one to kind of flex onto it.
I feel like it's one of those that you do get the kind of readjust, right?
Reposition, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like Yampy is born and bred in Counter-Strike mentality when it comes to, you know, operators or AWPing. The guy's great at it. We know he's got aim. And I feel like if you come from that, you definitely understand the concept of what makes you feel comfortable to be able to readjust, right? And he gets that safe get out of jail free card. So for him, he can, you know, use maybe the blind. He can use, you know, whatever he wants. He can TP anywhere he fancies. He can kind of dip to the other angles. He can still play it out. So I feel somewhat, at least, like it's a little bit more suitable than some of the agents he toys with, because it has some of those, I guess, mechanics to allow that. But as it stands, big information for Durka here. Huge map territory garnered, instantly going to alleviate and kind of allow someone like Boaster now to lean towards C. Maybe this is a pressure point that it looks like Liquid want to keep exploring and exploiting, but I do want to see how maybe the Cypher is going to handle this here.
Rolling Thunder goes through, actually closes off all of C's side. Doma looking to re-aggress with the run it back here. Nothing to do here for Liquid, but 2 kills in response, and Lick finally puts Doma down in that ultimate. Durka, though, look at this flank. He's already got himself tucked to the end of long.
Certainly does. We've got to see that on the screen. There it is. Durka finds a magnificent 2. That's just going to cut them off at the heels. Oh, and even Yampy couldn't adjust in time. That's the Durka you want to see. FNATIC fans, have some faith now. Durka's in the building. Great positioning and good patience to not show his hand too early.
That goes there.
Dan, actually, no, we did miss it. Durka demonstrating some solid trigger discipline there for the first to come through. It was Soulcast that swung initially and then Link to follow up. But Doma re-aggressing, I gotta say, at just the right time after this Rolling Thunder comes through. Waits for kind of that little lull, right? The moment of silence after that ultimate comes through. And Doma coming through and clearing all that space back over. Meant Liquid couldn't get control of the site.
Oh, Durka. Finding screen, but a quick trade out. So both of the jets neutralized, but they still need to land the hit towards the side. There's 2 players stacked up as well towards Sewer. Keep that in the back of your minds. It's not just Boaster. There's another. This could be a little bit of a game changer here. They might be able to find Boaster and then kind of, for a second, take their eye off the ball. But the flash is good and Doma's there as well. Swinging from the side is just great. Even finding a falling Yampy from the heavens. And FNATIC looking like they've controlled the danger that was building.
Yeah, again, Liquid not afraid to get down and dirty with a judge purchase there. I mean, Yampy just praying somebody pushes his ultimate in heaven there. Unfortunately, FNATIC able to strip away everything else on site. And well handled. I mean, Durka readjusting to find that kill on screen there. Yes, he gets traded out, but that was actually crazy.
Yeah. And the comp that I'm looking at here, I keep thinking, why do I feel like I know this composition coming out? It's looking real like Sentinels have made an impression at the very least, so interesting to see that coming through. Very similar pick in that regard. Obviously a little different to what we saw over at Reykjavik, but since then, seems to be what they're leaning towards themselves, so clearly some method to the madness. Appreciated by both sides, it seems. And for now, 3-3. Money, probably rough around the edges here. Am I going crazy? But normally we see the icons of the weapons they have, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay, that's fine. Just making sure that my brain hasn't just occluded that. I was sitting there going, why do I keep looking here? Why do I keep looking at the sides of the screen? And I'm missing something. But hopefully we can get that fixed up for you. I'm not sure what the issue is. Clearly the UI's, it's having a slow start to the day. But it looks like a burst towards B. Flash. Oh no, it wasn't a flash. Actually dog down towards the connector? No, back sight. So maybe the presence that we'd seen from Magnum has kind of kept that in mind, but Scream's going to work through the smoke. Now, Mystic and Boaster, do they predict it? Do they play to this? It looks like Mystic was unaware, but now he seems all too aware. Swings out on Scream in a blink and you'll miss it. Boaster fell back towards Spawn. To be able to do that, great work from Boaster, because danger is being mounted here. This is surprising, considering the purchase.
Yeah, and Soulcat's actually finding 2 kills here. And the neural theft invested. Makes it very winnable for Liquid. Durka now trying to fight back in. Soulcat's going to find the 4th. Durka finally puts him down. Blaystorm popped. He can't get it out in time. Cryptic's going to close things out, and a thrifty round win here for Liquid. Again, on the back of Soulcat, he responds with 2 kills with the Sheriff and completely flips that round in Liquid's favor.
Spike planted.
The start we were looking for here. Durka got the op. Other than that, Soulcast continuing as he means to go on. It wasn't a one-map wonder. He's managed to find that form throughout, and the back-and-forth trade of rounds. Gonna keep the economy somewhat humble, neither side truly swelling with the economy. You know, they don't have the massive amount to play with. Flash towards mid. I think might have caught the Omen there. I'm not sure if I heard the audio cue on it, but they've got an idea. But look at Durka taking so much space. There is already a player posted up here, though. This could... I don't know if he's aware of that cross coming out. Let's see if that gets any sort of punish going here, because it looks like timing's going to be a big factor. Hello? There it is. Yampy gets him, but it's at the cost of Scream now.
Actually, Yampy going to try and close the distance. Yeah, but already Mystic and Boast are going to be posted up. But left a little bit of a gap elsewhere. I mean, Magnum can potentially lean away from C side, but Doma going to get spotted out. Backside of B. Looks like that is the end goal here for Liquid.
Hulk out.
It's play towards A that's going to be pretty much Yampy to lead through on this. Actually walks the smoke, so Mystic's backside, Boast is there. Pressure from Long, and here we go. Boast now in trouble. He's going to be cleared by Soulcast. Mystic still maintains, though, and that's going to be a good bit of work from him. It's going to at least keep him in the realm of possibility until Link makes his mad debut, and Liquid in the end. It's the players sometimes you don't expect. I feel like the whole Liquid squad is turning up today.
Absolutely. I mean, the fault line absolutely pixel perfect there to create that opportunity on Long. A really, really well considered round win there from Liquid. Again, on the back of Yampy just kind of, I want to say, taking a step back, but at least, you know, pausing, allowing that round to kind of play out. Positionally, at least, and Liquid readjust really, really well. I honestly thought with, you know, with that gap created and Doma being spotted as a solo piece. Oh. This is out on the second there, but...
Booster.
Did he spot him?
Yes, he absolutely did.
Yeah.
The double dink, gorgeous work. Magnum somehow around on the back as well. FNATIC, they are slippery today. They are finding gaps to try and play from. Considering what they're working with, it was far from ideal, so they're making it count. Pops the ult, wants to get the fact-finding mission, see if he can catch on screen, and he's denied it. He's held him in place for now.
The Doma I was going to say, it was like, I think he heard a step there. It was like, oh my god, he's going to come back and kill my ult. But Scream thought better of it. Half HP, well, 50 HP left. Cryptic still nice and healthy here, but find themselves in a 2v3. Not much in the form of tools or utility here for Liquid in this post plant.
Spike planted.
Just looking at, I mean, a Sheriff and maybe a Phantom on the side of Boaster, but not much in the form of weaponry for FNATIC on this retake.
Cage trigger.
Push up. He wants to try and play the timing. Honestly, he might get it. Yeah, he does. Cryptic's really well read, finding that tempo perfectly. The right click, it evades him though. And now Scream sharp as ever. He needs to be on for... What? What just happened? Scream... 20 AHP against 13. We're all a little baffled by this. I feel like I've just been sky flashed, and Mystic's just done him in.
That
Was that a
little bit of a fat finger, I think.
Yeah.
On the dash, and it's gonna cost Liquid the round.
That had to be a misclick of some sort.
It had to be. It had to be.
There's no logical reason he'd ever do that.
It's usually Yampy, right?
If Yampy did, I'm like,
embrace the dash towards enemy. Yeah, unfortunately, and it's even more unfortunate that Scream's so low HP, right? It's tough to lose a round like that. See, kind of puts the brakes on. Obviously, Scream going to ride the Blade Storm through here, but Not an awful lot left elsewhere. Rolling Thunder available as well. FNATIC get themselves back on the board here, and only one round separates them.
Liquid beginning to try and take the space through towards Garage. You're going to have Scream working forward, clearing towards Window. That's support here. And no presence elsewhere, so keep that in mind, that they could fall back. I guess they have the camera to make sure that no one's going to be creeping up towards Long, but beyond that is going to be that, you know, mid or C piece. And already, FNATIC responding in kind. They've got the players in the perfect place for it. They're not reading this incorrectly either. They're putting a lot of weight on Dirk's shoulders, but he'll be fine. Gonna lead through. Only finding the Phoenix there. Don't think he managed to catch a glimpse towards maybe the Cypher or the Sova, and away we go. In towards the site. Utility now invested. Set piece in play. Scream being given nothing, as that first glimpse is what he wanted, but Yampi towards the back does find one. Scream quickly dispatching of Magnum. You can see Boaster wanting to respond in kind. It's Mystic who's going to be there with him, turning the flash well, but he goes back, but Soulcast has the angle. And now with the spike lost, it's on Soulcast to still keep going, and there it is. Seekers go out, up and over we go. Gives away the position, but it doesn't give away the game just yet. Mystic's still alive here, and it's reaggressing.
I love that. Love that confidence, and it being Soulcast on the receiving end of it there. Mystic completely shutting that one down. It came down to a 1v1, sorry. These rounds, there's so little separating these teams right now. FNATIC looking so well poised in the retakes, and it's not often you say that, right? FNATIC aren't often the ones to kind of give sights up, right? They're very proactive on the defense. And to see that, I mean, it's on the back of the Rolling Thunder, right? You have to respect it now with that change. It completely closes off these sites.
Big denial of space here so far. The double stack towards A-Long's paid perfectly for FNATIC at the present, losing out on Yampi, trying to maybe get a little interested. Scream's been given a bit of room. But what he does with it, Magnum seems aware, and of course Doma's going to call out that yes, there is a player that can creep forward, but what can we do? Can they safely ferry the spike through? Well, now maybe they can. Scream going to just take the scalp off of Magnum. Now I have to look for that follow-up.
Liquid at least onto B-side to get this plant. Now, look for FNATIC to try and retake mid. Now, the key component becomes Cryptics here. Liquid try and keep FNATIC at bay here, and a link, and it's all going their favor right now. Boaster finally responds with a kill of his own. Look at this, the pinch comes through from Cryptics, like I said.
I know exactly.
Now the information found, it's game back on. Here we go, down to the last pieces. Cryptics and Scream still finding opportunities. Still converting these rounds back and forth between these two.
Last round before the
Like I
switch.
said, there's so little separating them, but that round there, beautifully executed by Liquid. And again, Cryptics, scoreboard doesn't reflect it, man, but you talk about impact and coming online at the right time in a round, right there, when all of that pressure is being absorbed on site, it just comes through with that swing from double doors again. You gotta say, finding that kind of pivot kill to close out the round for Liquid. Good pace change here. Liquid very quickly into A lobby here.
Soulcast is lucky to keep his life there. He was just dipping around the corner. Dirk has got... Boaster got caught.
Charges him
Yampi's
down,
aggression.
man.
Yampi was chasing that. He was never going to let it go. And now the time he's everything in middle. Magnum might be able to find a... Magnum is in the weirdest spot here. This is such a weird round already. They are dancing around each other. Yampi's taken a huge amount of territory towards C. They have to respond in kind. Durka, though, answers back on Link as well. They're moving in such a unique way. The spike still by spawn is heading towards C off the back of that one position. Now they know that Magnum's nearby, but he can't do much about this. It looks like Yampi's got his number. He does. He puts him in the grave. And look at the way they've approached this. Liquid just running this map.
There again, Yampi just being that unorthodox entity for Liquid. Now Mystic finds himself in a 1v4 somewhere. Spike ticking away. Still
Give you
not.
that feeling we're going to be back on camera.
Yeah. I feel like something happened there, Lauren.
Yes.
If you wanna talk us through it, that would be great.
Well, no, but
Interesting.
clearly an issue has happened. We'll try and get this fixed up as soon as we look. We don't actually produce, observe, do anything other than sit here and talk nonsense. I know it's surprising, right? We get paid to do this, so we're as shocked as you are. But hopefully things get fixed up as soon as, right? Like we're here for the game as well. Clearly the lobby's had enough. It's a little tired. Wants a nap. Wants a break. No idea what's going on. As soon as we get word from the admin's production, we'll let you guys know. That's where we're at. So we're chilling.
Well, I mean, to come back to should we talk about something? That'd be weird, wouldn't it? Let's talk about the game.
Go on, then.
So for me, I mean, it's a big statement to make. That obviously, we think back to previous performances by FNATIC on Haven in particular. This was a little more reserved, right? Especially considering their defensive half overall. Typically, we see some of these really geeky executions, being very proactive, fighting for this early territory control. They gave a lot of that up to Liquid, and I don't know if that's kind of respecting the composition almost of Liquid of being able to, get these unorthodox, the flash and dash, right? It's probably the most powerful tool for attackers to gain that control in the early round, and I think maybe FNATIC lent away from that a little bit.
Yeah, and honestly, I do want to have a little look to see if FNATIC have been playing this map much. We didn't get to see much of FNATIC during the run to this point. We were kind of checking. I think we watched a bit of G2, a couple of other teams. I want to see if they've run this comp yet, or if this is like the first time we really get to see them leaning towards this. So I'm going to have a little look towards that, because again, it might just adjust their playstyle. Maybe in review of what they saw coming out from like some Sentinels and what have you, they've decided to maybe adopt a little bit of that. And I hate saying Sentinels because every NA fan will put that emote in chat. But I mean, again, if this is something they have to just respect is what they're doing, I want to have a little check. If you,
I was going to say versus G2, obviously, like I said, the two big changes here is Boaster coming off Astra and Mystic. Yeah. Obviously switching up onto the Omen now. Obviously, Boaster picks up the Sova in place. So, but again, I don't know if really in terms of expectations coming into that series on FNATIC's side, maybe had a kind of solid plan in terms of what G2 were going to bring to the table. Right? They're still a very unknown entity.
Absolutely.
In terms of this roster shuffle.
Yeah, so we're going to find out, and honestly, to give us a little bit more space, and you don't want to be staring at us, and you guys always say, cast to start the game, we can't. But do you know who can? The analyst desk. They have the button this time, so we're going to head over to them, and once the game is ready, they'll send us back in. So we're going to pass it over to them, and they can take you through anything to fill the time until the game's ready.
That's right. That's right. We're not lying. We do have the button. It's right here. I could push this button and the game would go live. But I'm not going to push the button yet because me and Lothar and Hypoc is also hopping.
Yeah,
man, they're making you do some wilds today.
I can fill on either side of the camera.
So Lauren's having a great time. She's laughing right now, bro.
Put your feet up, mate. Put your feet up.
Okay, well, I tell you what, I'll start with Lothar, Hypoc, just to give you a bit of breathing room, right? Just to give you some time to digest this. What do you make of the FNATIC defense so far, Lothar? I know you've had some thoughts. I know you've been watching.
Yeah, sorry, I actually let myself do some tears. So the thing is, FNATIC on defense, their composition is a little bit tailored towards attacker's side, right? Because of their double duelist, that's kind of obvious, right? But it actually means a lot because it took a while for Liquid to realize that, but the B point, the B hold, was the weakest chain in the link, the pun, for FNATIC, right? And we have seen that twice. On a thrifty buy from Liquid, they actually went B, took easy control of it, because when Sky just used her Tasmanian Tiger, went to the side, she pushed off the Phoenix off site. Because of that, they had an easy plan, and they somehow managed to get kills even with inferior guns, right? I mean, there's a lot of to be said about Solka's performance. That probably will just end up with me saying he's a monster, because there were just so many situations where he gets a double kill, a triple kill, a quadruple kill, like the opening 2 kills on pistol round. Everything that he does is huge, and on those 50 rounds he was actually opening a lot of those situations with his first blood. It's actually quite insane how much pressure he puts on FNATIC, and because of that I feel like the attacker's side is so successful for Liquid, even though it only ends up on 7-5. Remember, Haven is a little bit tailored towards the attackers because of the the design of the map, right? It's the only map that has 3 bomb sites. It's so hard to play defense on this map because of that fact. If you lose 1 defender early on and your opponents still have 5 attackers, or even just 4, it's 4v4, the map stays the same. While your forces are divided, you have less utility, you suddenly lose control, and you have to play retake on already when you're on a back foot. So you're like double punished by making mistakes. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this composition from Liquid will now be effective on defense, because they will face a similar problem that you will see would have seen from FNATIC, right? They will have to be a little bit more aggressive on the defense, exactly what you have seen from them on Bind, where they have to be proactive, even though they should be playing reactive on defense, right? So there's a little bit of a mix-up in styles because of the way both of those teams are playing their compositions. So sorry for the long monologue.
No, it's perfect, right? Considering
continue,
the situation we're in, Lothar, if there ever was a time for you to just monologue away, it's at a time like this. Something else I wanted to say, that you touch upon Soulcast and how he's been a monster. I think he really has given us like a masterclass as to why Sky is such a strong agent right now, right? Even looking back at Bind, like even taken out of the context of that incredible opener on Breeze, and, you know, discounting Haven now, the way that he was like, the way he's been using Sky to kind of turn your opponent's smokes into like his advantage, right? He's always like popping himself through. He's being such a nuisance, and he's just picked Sky into every one of these maps so far as like a staple of this team. On the other side, right, we saw FNATIC Durka picked up Sky back on Bind as like a bit of an innovation on their usual comp, but you could tell he didn't look as comfortable, right? He wasn't finding that same impact as a guy like Soulcast was. I do just love how like he's really homed in on this one agent and is just using her in such an effectful way, man. Like the guy's over 50 kills deep at the end of 2 maps. You know, you don't do that every day.
Yeah, you know, it's funny we bring it up because I feel like the stark difference between Soulcast and Durka here is that Durka was established as a fragger and as a jet player, as someone who is like just the nuts guy, right? That for FNATIC, the inclusion of Durka and Magnum was the thing that they needed. They lacked the firepower, and those 2 players, they brought it back, right? Soulcast, historically speaking, was a little bit struggling with his identity, and I feel like this is the moment where he actually found his purpose, and he found like the way he should be playing the game, and fits him so well. So he is now enabled. Let me word it this way. And because of that, because of the fact that Sky is such a playable character, let's say like that, during this patch, she's so overall good because she's good on defense. She has a heal, right? It can be instrumental to the team's survival. You have the initiation as well, but you also have the info gather with the Tasmanian target, and you have the flashes, which are basically like duelist flashes. So you have to play Sky, essentially, in almost every single composition because she's so overall good. And who will play Sky if FNATIC, right? This is why they put Durka on that duty. And the problem is Durka then doesn't play his best character, right? So there's a discussion. There's a lot of things to discuss when it comes to comfortability, right? It's a very hard word for me.
Yeah.
How important is that someone picks his comfort, right, when it comes to the agents, and he will play to his strengths instead of being the flexible player and playing for the team's benefit, right? There's a lot of discussion like, should I play Reyna if I'm a Reyna main, if I play competitive? Probably not, because Reyna doesn't really bring that much value for the team, right? Here, both of those picks for Durka are like, well, they are amazing, right? Jet is a Jet, while Sky is just so powerful on the new patch. So you are in a very weird spot as a team to decide, what do we do with the team comp?
Yeah, no, Lothar, man, I love having you here for moments like this. Like, you will just imbue me with knowledge, and I just sit here and I come out the other side and I go, wow, I'm actually a smarter, more well-rounded human being now. That was brilliant. Yeah,
but that's what chat's saying.
No, I can imagine, dude. I can imagine the chat is full right now. Something that we can do is we can get our boasties. We have a little boaster video standing by, so let's throw over to that because he's always a barrel of laughs.
Hey there, Valorant fans. Welcome to another One Must Stay video, the format where you get to know EU pros better than you could ever wish for. Yassine was the first one forced to make a choice, but now it's time for a new guest. A master of walk-ins and post-match celebrations. Welcome to Boasters.
Hello. No. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, man, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. Are you ready for today's competition? I know it's not really a competition, but you're going to be judged on it. I guarantee that.
I'm born ready. You know me. Love competing. Love coming second. So let's hope we can do that again.
So we're going to start on maps. You've got to pick one of these to remain. Your choices are Ascent, Icebox, or Breeze.
Icebox. I want to keep that map. Yeah.
Okay. Why Icebox? What do you got against Breeze? What do you got against Breeze?
I haven't even...
Two must go, one must stay. It's Astra, Brimstone, and Sova.
Oh. Two must go. Where do they go? Like deleted from the game?
They're gone. Disintegrated. They go right into the disintegrator. They're out of the game forever.
I'm keeping Brimstone, man. Mom.
For round 3, we're speaking about damage dealing utility of mollies, but now it's time to talk about weapons. 3 of these. One must stay, 2 must go. The classic, the ghost, the frenzy.
I like the ghost.
The ghost?
Little, you know, little crisp headshots. It feels nice. The frenzy is my best gun, and the classic, you know, jumping right clicks and whatnot, that can go. The ghost is like the pure skill gun, just one taps on a headshot. You know,
a lot of people be getting rid of that classic. I think you're in good company there for sure.
There's probably been a lot of desk slams with the classic. He's kind of done that. Sick coming out of CT on split, double right clicking, one tapping us.
It's very difficult to play against.
What? Oh, that's it. I'm quitting.
Now, on the topic of guns, let's talk about skins. You got to keep one of these around. Depths, Horizon, or Tethered Realms? Which one's staying?
They're all dog. None of them. No, if I was to choose one of these skins, I'd get rid of the Tethered Realms because that sword and knife combo is not a thing. I'm going to go for the fish. Depths. Just get a bunch of fish on your gun. Why not? Finding Nemo.
I'll be honest, it feels relaxing, you know, when you use that. I feel like I'm in an aquarium. Nothing bad ever happens in an aquarium. As we're talking about aquariums, that seems like a good segue to move on to animals. Kangaroos, penguins, or otters? Which one are you keeping around?
Penguins.
You're keeping penguins.
I don't know.
The kangaroos, the otters, you're throwing them in the incinerator? What?
To be fair, otters are really cute. I'm not throwing them into the incinerator. They're just I don't know. Yeah. No, I'm just gonna go for penguins because the first one that came to my head. Well, the otters are like the water dogs and they're really cute. And then kangaroos, they're kind of jacked, so you don't want to start on them at land.
You've done pretty well so far. And now it's time for the tough ones. Let's get you back in touch with the world, with nature. Are you keeping a forest, the ocean, or a city?
I'd say keep the ocean because the ocean provides us with the majority of our oxygen, so we kind of need to keep that.
Does the ocean? I thought it was the forest provides us with oxygen.
I think it's the ocean. I think it's the
Cool.
I think it's the corals that provide us with like a massive percentage of our oxygen. I could be wrong though, but I can't remember.
Oh, no, I've just Googled it. At least half of the Earth's oxygen comes from the ocean. The surface layer is teeming with photosynthetic plankton. That's pretty sick. I've learned something new today. I'm happy.
There you go. That's where I am. I'm an IGL. I'm here to teach you. It might not be about Valorant. It could be about the ocean.
Let's talk about the final round. We're talking about IGLing, playing the game, right? Getting in there.
Yeah,
you need a hand to do that. More importantly, you need fingers. You can only keep one. Index finger, middle finger, or ring finger.
You only keep one finger, so I'm going to be a one-fingered gamer.
Oh, yeah.
It's GG. I guess you keep your... If I didn't have that... Click, 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 click. It couldn't be the thumb, but then I couldn't hold on to the mouse. I'd have to have like a stylus pen.
I think
man.
well, I think it's one of those 3 fingers. So you'll have your pinky and you'll have your thumb, so you can still hold the mouse.
Okay.
But which one are you going to use if you have to have one to do everything? Because like the index, right?
You just get rid of this
one.
one, the ring finger.
You got to get rid of 2. That's the
We'll
thing.
get rid of 2.
Do you
Ring
keep
can
in the
get-
middle or the index?
Yeah, I don't need these 2, I don't think. I think the index is super important, right? Because, like, how are you going to pick your nose? Nah, I'm joking, I'm joking. Yeah, keep index. Index.
You're keeping the index. Okay,
Yeah, I'm
so
just testing now.
that's us done. It's been a pleasure running through these with you, Boaster. I hope you've had a little bit of fun, and I hope that you've made the right choices. Don't want to look back on this one with regret.
Well, what happens if you make the wrong choices? How do you know what's right?
Just check Reddit afterwards. You'll see.
Oh, okay. Well, if people want to start with me on Reddit, they're going to be... They better watch out, mate. Because like, these guns are not here to mess around.
I love Boaster, man. You can't not love this dude. He's so pure. We have to protect him. We have to make sure that he's okay. Right now in the server, for anyone who is just tuning in, it's 5-5. We have some technical difficulties, right? The game crashed, so they're remaking the lobby and hoping to resume the game from where it crashed. So that's what's going on right now, right? And that's from the league officials, you know. So they're the people who know what's going on far better than I do, I can tell you that. Lothar, at 5-5, we have a chance to do like a mid-game death segment. This never happens. So talk to me, you know, what are we looking at, let's say, for a Team Liquid victory?
For a Team Liquid victory, I mean, they're gonna have to prove themselves on defense, right? Actually, before we went to that Boaster video, I touched briefly upon that, right? The Breach Sky combination just ensures that they have to be aggressive on the defense, and that's something that we'll have to just kind of use to enable the other players to take aggressive space. It's very similar to what we have seen from FNATIC on Bind. I'm not sure you guys saw it, but when they were using Astra and Breach in combination on defense, they were using like gravity wells in some crucial spots, like an example in A short when they gravity welled, and that was pushing people away from it, right? But then when they're going away from the gravity well, they were trapped into a fault line and they're getting stunned, and that allows FNATIC to take control of the map a little bit, and that bit by bit allows them to take control and reinforce other angles, other sides, other lanes that I have on the map. And this is especially crucial in Haven with those more open space lanes towards the sides, because they're free sides. Not sure what you think, Hypok, about that.
Yeah, I think it's always kind of a given to assume that there's going to be some value that's almost inherently found with a composition like this on attack. I think Lothar makes a really interesting point. It does then rely on finding the same, if not similar, value on defense, right? Especially if you're going to have a jet lean away from that operator, in particular, because you need to be kind of getting in the mix of things and getting down and dirty, right? In terms of working off those flashes. So it's really interesting to see different teams kind of address it. The one thing being, I think for Liquid, it goes against the grain in terms of what we would expect to see from them on defense, right? In terms of being proactive or more almost kind of, dare I say it, funneling their opponent into a certain part of the map, right? It's never usually these aggressive team fights that come out from Liquid. It's more on the base of, actually, we're going to take away some areas of control from you, force you into a choke point, and we're going to have something really geeky set up for you to walk into.
So it's almost like become this kind of tug of war across the map, right?
Yes,
where
exactly.
both teams are kind of vying for this map control because the defense is spread pretty thin, and you don't have like the you need to be kind of using your agent's aggression to your advantage. That's really sick. I love this idea of like a dynamic tug of war for map control. I'm also really hoping that we can have guys like Scream, you know, keeping up appearances. It was a very slow start to the day for him, and I think when you look at someone like Scream, when you look at a name like that and you've got him and he's someone and you're going, yeah, he's looking a little bit, you know, a little washed right now, like kind of needs to wake up a little bit. It was great to see that return to form. And I'm hoping that, you know, that like X factor of having everyone in the server feeling a bit more activated is going to give Liquid a fighting chance here on Haven. I mean, we're in an even scoreline, let's not forget, right? It's been a little while since we were in the game because of the tech problems. I know we can't wait to get back, and it should be soon. But yeah, man, I think Scream getting activated is very important here, just to help round out the firepower that felt a little lackluster at the start of the day.
If I can touch upon that, like, we have talked about Scream on Jet, and then the way he attacks the map on Breeze a lot, right? The way he like kind of semi lurks through mid and goes like through double doors towards A or through the tunnel on B allows a little bit of different spacing for the team on the attack, and it's even more hard to do on Haven, but he still tries to do that. Like an example on Haven, we have seen 2 times the same execute when Scream goes through double doors and then attacks C, and he does that from the angle where he dashes in through double doors tunnel towards side, and he goes with an updraft towards the stack near the entrance of C, and that allows him to control almost the entire of the side, but he doesn't pressure the person in the backside, and that needs to be compensated then by the players in his team by using utility on the backside. But that still most likely will not push that player from that backside to CT. So it's a little bit like of a problem when it comes to creating that space on side with those kind of like side approaches.
Yeah, sorry, hi Puck. I heard you say something a moment ago.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you wanted to. I didn't know if you wanted to
you.
come in with anything, so I was just giving you the respect.
Hey, I considered it. Now you put me on the spot. I might as well, right? The interesting thing, really, with Scream always on this Jet, and I think back to previous compositions for Liquid is how prominent he can become as like a late round piece, right? And usually when we look at a Jet player, it's the big tell. You see a Jet dashing in the early round, it's a pretty obvious sign of what's about to happen, right? Scream's always been this really, really interesting late round dynamic for Liquid, and actually again on other rages, I think to Phoenix on Ascent, when Liquid were kind of toying with that in the early iterations and how successful it looked on these that late A site execution we saw time and time again. Now, with this composition, they can almost sell so much of a fake in the early round, especially with the flash resets now on Sky. But also, it's the secondary layer to that, right? It's figuring out, it's gathering information off of that, and then reacting accordingly. Being Scream as that late round piece, they can move him about the map wherever they need it. And on Haven, that's such a worrying prospect, really. If Scream's going to be the one that 20 seconds left into a round, and he's the guy dashing down on your face.
Yeah, no, 100%, right? And like I feel like I'd have an even better understanding of where we're at if like Breeze had shaped up differently.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Because I feel like I'm kind of stuck in between two minds with what to expect out of Scream. Like, are we going to have the Scream from Bime where it was kind of, more in with the pack, like a more traditional Jet? Or is it going to be, like someone going for these big old lurks on you, darting in? Because that did cause them their fair share of problems. We've kind of seen both teams burned by the attempts of innovation throughout this series, it feels like. But there's nothing wrong with innovating, right? You got to take some risks, and when you look at these squads, I think risk takers, I think trendsetters. So I do really think that this is just a great matchup that we all want to get back into. A few moments ago, I heard some rumblings that we're almost ready to get back in, so it should be just around the corner. But we have a little bit longer, so while we do still have some time. Now is your chance, gentlemen. You never get this opportunity to alter your predictions, knowing what we know now in this third map.
Well,
give me your thoughts and feelings.
Okay, I mean, I'll start off. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a 2-0 for FNATIC anymore, Harry. Interestingly enough.
Yeah, that's a good alteration.
I think this one's going to go to Haven. And interestingly enough, I think actually Liquid are going to win out in the first half of Haven, and then FNATIC are going to come back in the second half, and they're going to close out 2-1.
Ooh, okay, so you're still on that FNATIC train, right? Well, Hypoc, mate, you've got to get out of here, bud. You've got a whole game to cast, my guy. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of Hypoc. We'll get rid of me and Lothar, because Team Liquid versus FNATIC is about to restart. We're back into this. Take it away.
Alrighty, so it does seem as though everything is good to go. I say that with bated breath. So we'll get there. I want to see the game on pause.
I can hear you. That's a good start, right?
We'll take that. We'll take that as a starter. Now, the first round, I think the UI is bugged, so don't lose your minds. I don't know how I'm going to cast it.
Please
It'll be
don't
funny
shout
to
at us.
watch.
Please.
It's not us, We'll do our best, but as soon as it's ready, we'll jump in. All right, thanks for your patience, guys. I do appreciate it. I know what it's like. It does seem as though we are going to be hopping into this, so let's have a little look how it goes down. If you are just tuning in, Liquid on the attack, FNATIC on the defensive side, just because the UI will be bugged for the first round. So, just to give you that little notion to get that locked into your brains. And I do see the timer is now ticking down, so we should be good to jump into this. Again, I'm pretty sure it was 6-5 at this point, the last round of the first half. So we do dive in and just you know, I was sitting here just scribbling things down. You know, the CSGO outdated, EU overrated, long we have waited, casters debated. We are back underway. A couple more seconds and it's good to go. So again, ignore the UI. We have... What?
This is a really interesting. As you can see here, FNATIC trying to fight for mid control in the early round. Durka actually opting for the knife. Magnum gonna follow up here. Yampy finding his third on the round now, Lauren. Mystic turning that flash, but Scream
How did he
puts
do
him
it?
down. An
How
insane
did he
round
do
from
it?
Liquid there.
Headshot machine. It all makes sense, and there it is. So Sideswap going to come in, maybe a gentleman's accord to just get that round done, leave it the way it was kind of trending, potentially. Who knows? I don't know. I just crack on.
Roll with it at this point.
Yeah, you know what? Screw it. Just go what's in front of you. So here's going to be the side switch. So it'll be Liquid now on the defending side, of course, and FNATIC on the attacking side. I believe it will be 6-6. I'm not sure. Hopefully that UI will kick in and all will be saved. 7-5. I've lied to you, Parlously. Right, there it is. Okay. 7-5. Let me make note of that, because why do I feel like it might vanish from me? Who knows? There we are. FNC. Right, let's shake it off and get back in the game, ladies and gents. We have a great matchup in front of us. It's gone all three. And we finally get to see who gets to walk away the victor. We had Breeze coming out. We've had Scream being hot and cold, though. So you don't know what you're going to get on this final half. We had a weird dash coming in. We've had Soulcast being a mad influence. It's all there. We've got the Sentinels comp to give the NA fans a little bit of hope and interest. So already you're going to have that C-Long presence coming out. And we're going to be looking for that little bit of a slightly later clear through Garage. But it's worked so well. Doma is right on the cusp of this. And away we go. Doma going to step right on through.
Absolutely shut down, though. Yampy actually going to find a second here. Magnum will respond, but it's on to Link elsewhere. It's still got two members to dig out at the back of the side. Yampy, man, give him a frenzy. It's just disgusting what he can do with that. Boast of the last man standing now finds himself on a 1v3 spike. You got to say, pretty much unretrievable at this point. Is Liquid going to be able to reinforce, but Yampy, man, and the site hit looks so clean as well. The confidence to just sit there behind default and wait for that to play out, just insane stuff.
I mean, there's a reason they're making the raid boss, right?
Exactly.
They prop him up. They go, right, let's invest. Let's get it going.
30 seconds left.
And at this point, Boaster, yeah, I mean, you've got 25 seconds. You're just going to have a chat maybe about how you want to approach the rest of the game. Not a bad shout. Run the clock down. You're probably not going to be able to get this done, really. Give yourself a fair shot towards the end of it, but maybe have that consideration how you want to approach the rest of this matchup. And there it is. Scream to find. Of course, it's a headshot. Why wouldn't it be? And 8-5 now on the board.
We will pull away a little bit here. I mean, so the opportunity with that scoreline, we always look for potentially the trailing team to tie things up with a pistol round win and that round 2 conversion, but be interested to see here. Yeah, FNATIC just gonna ride through absolutely nothing invested here.
So how's your day been? It's been busy, right?
A little hectic. A little hectic. Yeah, you could say.
Yeah.
Lots of moving parts. How's yours? Did you miss me?
I was really enjoying myself. Nice relaxing time. Yampy. Look at that guy. He's so sharp with that. It's an easy one, though. Keeping it clean. No threats found. Magnum last one here. He has managed to kind of slip between the cracks. But the spike is down on C, so with all the best intention, maybe costly is the best thing they can hope for. And there it is. It's going to be swept up by Soulcast. No problems there. They did manage to find Cryptics, but no big issues found. And this is going to be game on time. FNATIC need to come back in blaring. This has to be a goer from this point onwards. Otherwise, Liquid are just going to spiral out of control.
Yeah, they really will. It's a very strong half at start to the half here. Knocking on the door of double digits already. Scream going to throw a Vandal in the mix here. Link actually as well. You'll see spread out. Doesn't look like they're going to look for any early round. Actually, potentially a setup with Link and Scream here through sewers with that fault line potentially. And tucked down. You heard it ring off in the background and nothing garnered other than some early control towards A.
There's Flash, there's the swing, and there's going to be the presence. FNATIC are working off the back of this too. Dirk are going to lead the charge, but the Flash is going to hinder progress for a second. Mystic going to spam out towards that right side connector on towards A. Quick spike plant 2. Do they get it down? Nothing to deny it. There it is. Spike is now in. He gets out of dodge, and now it's retake time, but they got to clear so deep here.
Do indeed. Already ticking away. FNATIC looking to reinforce here with this mid hold. Actually just trying to run the clock down here. Molly going to come out first from Doma here to get them off. Not even the half defuse comes through just yet. Lots of tools available for FNATIC to run the clock down here. And actually the trade comes through, yeah.
And Magnum playing it back in really well, just using the lip of that window to avoid the flashes, keep himself away from it. The spray is great. Magnum, good adjustment, and we said it's got to be go time, right? This has got to be it for FNATIC. Stop the rot. Stop Liquid getting those double digits, and they've done well to now get that first step on the board. They've managed to kind of break back in. They kept a fair few alive as well, so they should be able to maybe shift out the money a bit, kind of divvy it up between everyone. We'll have to see how it looks with this purchase coming in. It looks like I'm seeing rifles galore, so they should be happy enough.
Here, and looking at ult progression, it feels as if it maybe leans as well. Actually, Scream 2 away from the Bladestorm, Soulcast 2 off the Seekers as well. So good progress shown. Those two at least here. FNATIC dual theft online. Nothing else really. I mean, Doma 2 off the run it back, but they're going to make a play for either orb here in the early round.
Patience. Here. The timing there. Could have caught a glimpse, but didn't, I don't think. FNATIC reworking middle now. Is that Omen trying to slip through? Yes. I think they just
Yampy.
did. Of course it's Yampy. Yeah, my bad. I was like looking at which Omen. I was like, it is Yampy. So yes, of course he's walked the smoke in middle. Set himself towards Cubby. I mean, him hearing this is big information he's going to find. I wonder how much he can call out here, and he might start actually working it. Yeah, he's going to walk down here. He's got the op out as well. Now on the back of side, there is a Cypher. Cryptic's, I think, avoided maybe detection with that outdraw. He's seeing all this utility poured in. He's now got support here, though. Back towards CT, there's 2 more. Jet and Breach now joining, but the site's been smothered. Dirk is there, Magnum's there, and this is going to be dangerous. Yampy in the back lines. What are you going to do with this one? I don't know what. I mean, his flank could have been dangerous, but, I mean, he had an op around the back of Garage.
Again here, just negate all of this risk. Hold on to site. Don't give away anything else. Again, an important round for FNATIC to get on the board, but talk about building back into this half. Keeping 3 alive here is absolutely key for them in terms of building up an economic buffer. Magnum, I guess, coming around to try. I mean, it would be big if they could take this away from Yampy as well. Don't get me wrong, but Dirk could try to bait out something there. Yampy again, just that 6th sense.
Feeling the timing, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh no!
You don't often see that. Yampy missing a, I don't want to say a sitter, but, you know, missing a shot like that, it feels like that's more than often in his wheelhouse. But yeah, did manage to get caught off, and that's the op now gone.
Nailed it. And again, Cryptics, this is the important thing, right? And we talk about kind of Cypher creeping back into viability and a couple of teams leaning on him. It's so difficult when that hit comes through. If the attacking team are able to just sit and freeze for kind of 3 seconds or so, the traps get completely stripped away, right? The cages run out, and then it's almost like Cryptics is kind of just stuck there, right? with nothing else to do except hope that his teammates have got there in time. It doesn't buy the same sort of time as Killjoy.
Joke's over. You're dead.
Durka in full up now from Doma. Just gonna pour through this one. Does find him on site. I think he noted Link enough, but thought there was a room. There was a little bit of room there. There wasn't. Link, though, finding some value. Scream with the ult coming online means this isn't gonna be a walk in the park. There is still threats to be had, information to be found. Gets great spots towards the site. You gotta know there's one towards long. They kind of know what's up here, but Mystic trying to give him the slip, but he's just playing with those audio cues.
There's again FNATIC gonna look to hold on to 3. Scream though, Bladestorm still in a position to do some damage here. Creeping through, actually going to jump up with the right click. Goes a straight. We'll still find Boaster here, though, with the classic. Oh, this is going horribly wrong here. Liquid finding everything on the way back in. Soulcast closes it out as well. The plant a little away from, I guess, being a clean plant for long here allows Soulcast to get that advantageous 1v1, though, and that is a big slip up.
I think once he'd expended that ult, I thought it was done for, right? I was like, well, that's their big chance gone. But the two right clicks, the flash, I guess, gives away... Well, I don't know where that flash was exactly positioned. I mean, it kind of curved around the site, but I don't know if they were kind of under the assumption they were still both on site. Maybe that was a really good way to double check that, or if it could have maybe picked up someone peeking on long, but whichever way, it gave the perfect peek then to Scream to work back in through. So, absolute stunner of a round for them to close out, and I did not see that coming. Durka going to try and avoid the early utility, get that presence noted towards long, but this could be Scream towards the sewers. There's a walk up from Durka, still going to try and... Oh, that's a pixel out of place. That's going to be a shutdown. Yampy jumped it, and it looks like he just took the damage to the shins.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Oh, Doma didn't spot the head there of Scream, just picking over the top of the smoke, but only a little bit of damage goes on to Doma. FNATIC now, you gotta recover something from this round. This is gonna be Liquid on the brink of 11 here. That's gonna come through. Actually slow down one. Magnum and Doma both find kills though.
A little lazy on keeping in mind that people can just walk those smokes if they fancy it. Maybe feeling that flash did more than it did. But look at the clear out from Boaster. Soulcast dead and buried. It's a 3v2. All three towards the side, two towards CT pretty much. Cryptis trying to clear towards Graffiti off the back of the utility from Link. A nice idea, but it doesn't work out. Magnum punishes and now a 1v3. Yeah, Magnum's low, so that's going to be a quick cleanup, but that crossfire is still so good.
Well done there again. I mean, with the first blood going in their favor, they still had effectively a 3v3 on site. So for FNATIC to still commit there and come out on top,
That goes there.
really, really well played by them. Not faltering at the pressure. I guess really after things do not go Durka's way at all on the way in. Rolling Thunder available for Liquid. Neural Theft as well, and there's just one, I think just one weapon invested here. Diamond down to 50 HP already, getting tagged up twice through that cage actually.
You can see that Sky trying to make as much presence as possible, peacocking as large as they can to try and give away that maybe there's more than there is here, but Durka, there was a window of chance there for maybe a spicy sheriff shot to come out, but you're right, yeah, look at that site clear, it's really well done. Now, keep in mind that this was a kind of a stack towards C. They were down C long. They were making some decent progress, but this A piece has worked very well.
Spike planted.
Oh, but that actually catches the head of Cryptix. Boaster going to follow up on that damage done. Dome will find another anyway. Yampy. Oh no, Magnum might hear that. Although he was a little bit out of audible range, unfortunately.
Last player standing.
Yeah, just Yampy left for the shorty now, and Magnum actually coming back this way. The timing just on point for him. I have to bring it within touch and distance here, Laura. This is a great answer back here. Now, again, that previous one, the perk to go on. What are you going to ask me? You're asking something really awkward.
Yeah. Would it be our kind of, you know, match? We already had the tech delay,
Don't say it. Don't say it. Yinsu's not here. You don't need to say the word overtime. You do not need to say it.
It's 10-9, you know, you're feeling it. It's feeling a bit throwy on either side. It's getting a bit dicey. We'll see. It could happen. I'm all for it.
It's us.
Yeah, imagine a 2-0 one day, Hypok. I mean, we should get paid by the round at this point, I think. I think that's the way to do it.
That's
Durka, trying to get paid by the frag, it looks like. Gonna get himself right towards the tip of the spear and then gonna lean in towards C, actually. So drawing the attention away from the site hit itself, but Cryptix is still very much in this. Spots a player trying to dip through, but Doma outdoes. And now the flash goes in again. He wants more. He's gonna maybe get more. Mystic's got his back. And now Yampy, he's a mile away, and he's gonna want to keep that up again. This guy doesn't want to get involved. This looks like Fnatic's gonna tie up the series 10-10.
Spike planted.
Well, sometimes he's just like literally 15, 20 seconds behind the round, right? Again, here with the operator, it's so difficult to be, especially when first blood doesn't go your way. Yes, you can be the one to kind of, I guess, play anchor in a retake scenario, but it's so difficult. It's such a huge burden to have this as part of your consideration to make. And Fnatic, tie things up here, 10-10. Now again, talking about expectations-wise, I mean, ultimate progress heavily in favor of Fnatic here. And financially, I think this is, I mean, unless they do force something up around this operator, this is Fnatic on the brink of going to 11.
Cover going out.
I mean, it could be a Yampy special, right? You could have one of those rounds where he finds the right placement. Maybe he can be the game changer, but you're right. This is pendulum swinging towards Fnatic building back up to this. They found the keys, it looks like, but I want to see what Yampy does. This is one of those, why am I seeing a pause? It better be tactical.
Yeah,
you better be tactical. Don't you be technical.
It's grayed out. It's grayed out, so I'm feeling good initially.
Okay, that's fine. We're good. We're fine. We're here.
Well, just looking at it though, again, it's Link 2900, Soulcast 3400, Cryptix 3100, Scream, no Blade Storm available, so you can't ride that through on a lesser purchase here. This is a really awkward round here for Liquid. Really awkward. Because again, they give this up, Fnatic go to 11, right? And Fnatic have the buffer that even if the next round ties things up and Liquid don't close out flawlessly, or, you know, I guess in terms of majority rule, they don't keep 4 alive, it's an awful rebuy back in. Like, it's almost worse off to not buy in this scenario and allow it to go to that round score. I mean, how do you see it? That's the way I see it here. It's almost your opportunities now, right? In terms of turning this back in your favor. It needs to be a clean round win here. Bulldog, Guardian, maybe Judge, something. It's scrappy from Liquid.
Okay, so early attention shown towards A-Long. It's not much, but I want to see if Yampy is quick to like move, if he's trying to be super proactive, if he's trying to, you know, be an instigator potentially, but it's obviously that fine line. You don't want to give away the one big leveraging factor. At this point, standing still, just seeing if maybe there's a stack, trying to feel out if there's any aggression across the map with, you know, maybe Spectres or, you know, a smaller purchase. A good approach from Fnatic to keep this in mind. Walking somewhat into the unknown. They know that the op was saved, but beyond that, it's about all you know.
Fnatic very, very slow and cautious in approach here. A little bit of an adjustment here on the side of Liquid. This is straight away the Owl Drone. Gonna give away the clues. Look at all this space. They have to respect this ultimate from Doma here. Gonna charge it all the way through. Soulcast finally puts him down. The plant will come of it. It's a full 5v5 here, Lauren.
Certainly is, and no flank coming in. It's all through CT or Heaven as it stands, unless no, Yampy doesn't have ult, so I mean, would he want to?
Boast has got the Hunter's Fury. They can run the clock down here, Lauren.
I don't think they can dig them out of this. I really genuinely don't. I think this might be putting a bow on it, at least in this round. Let's find out how this retake looks. Yampy wants to change that fact. Already going to find Durka, but it's the next steps that are going to be the hard part of the puzzle. Doma still playing the time, trying to play the smoke. He gets found. Soulcast denies. Now down to 3, but if Boast is alive, that spike should be safe. It's being touched now, but there's the shutdown. Mystic and Magnum in combination. Perfectly played.
Beautiful stuff. You even see Boaster drifting out through window as well to get a better angle on that ultimate there to close it off, almost running parallel with that default box.
Oh, this is a nice spot.
So well done from Fnatic. I think the reason the Liquid immediately rotate on the back of that owl drone is that they know what the plan's going to be, right? And they have to hit that. They have to prevent the spike from coming down. But the one thing that stops it is Doma, right? They have to respect that. When you have somebody absolutely risk-free running it down A site in the run it back, you have to back up. There's no value in challenging it.
Okay, we go again. FNATIC have found the rhythm. Enough to post themselves up now onto 11. Playing back in from a deficit. The ults are in droves, though, for Liquid. They have plenty to maybe pull towards. The other side, Magnum and Mystic.
Trick shot. Careful.
Where do they lean now? It's kind of a lean towards C, I guess you could say. 2 towards that connector side. 2 dedicated towards the site. And I guess, you know, the answer internally is, well, yeah, FNATIC have been constantly pressuring A. So you can see maybe Liquid trying to go, well, they won't do that again. Let's stack out C. Surely they won't, you know, keep doing that. That's the next adjustment. So they're kind of playing, they're trying to stick to the same tune as FNATIC may be. So this
Look at the lean. Look at the lean.
Well, okay, they've seen one. I'm seeing the jet lean away. Here's the utility. This is the correct read. If they stick to this, this could work out perfectly for Liquid. We're going to have to find out if they can stick the landing, though. TP comes in. Mystic is there. He is large and in charge, and he's pulling their attention away. Seeker's come out to play as well. Flash to follow. 26 seconds, and Yampi makes his appearance. Great double kill comes through. Mystic and Doma have been dealt with as Dirk is still looking for that next target. 18 seconds now. The clock beginning to rot, and here's the play back through Mystic. Wait, it's Magnum and Dirk. They still found a little bit of the time. I don't think he's got much left of this anymore. 10 seconds. He had to get that, and maybe he can still do this.
He knows Link's position as well because of the rolling thunder. He has no smoke to cut this off. 41 HP here. He gets the reload off. That's huge.
Hey, Link has to just play this gun out. This is going to be so dangerous. Now Durka gets cleared, stunned up, gives away the position. Link now closing the gap, but he comes out of it, but Link finds him. And that it will be 12 on the board. You can see Durka doing everything. Excuse me, it'll be Liquid to get one back on the board as Durka tried to do everything with that. He ran through every motion. I mean, that was down to the wire for the plant. But let's kind of roll it back to the start of the round. The end was exciting, sure, but the read coming out from Liquid there.
Yeah, and
They put all their players in the right place.
Yeah, it's not falling back to it. And we talked about this on Breeze, right? FNATIC planting these seeds all the way through this half. That conditioning becomes such a prominent factor in these rounds. And Liquid not backing away from it. The purchase a little better than I was expecting. Honestly, like I said, they needed to come through with a flawless victory. It's just Link that survives, but they mustered together some rifles, a Spectre in the hands of Cryptics, a Judge for Yampi. This is it now, and look at the flash come through. Doma finds 2.
Oh, Soulcast and Scream have been decimated. The site's now almost open available. Link still on the back lines, playing through from hell, feeling like he might be there too, but there it is. Dirk has outdone him as well. This is clean so far, and you can see Liquid clutching at straws, trying to find that cheeky kill, and they do, with a nice support coming in from the Omen. But now the next step is the tricky one.
No way.
Keeping straight through. Yampi's gotten away with so much space here. They only know really about Cryptics. But now what are you going to do with the Judge, Yampi? We've already seen you basically had it nerfed. This time Boast is going to keep you at range. Not going to let you get too close here. And now we have 12 on the board. 12 to 11. What's the money like for Liquid?
I mean, after that purchase, it's in the bin. I'm pretty sure it's again, possibility of a couple of rifles. I know a few of them were sat over 800-900 credits, but it's not going to be pretty. Yeah, thank God we cut away from that because it was not good to look at. But this is the opening here from Doma. Screaming Soulcast immediately falling. And like we said, those are the sorts of agents we look to find value on defense. Look at this now, the stack again.
The aggression. Look at that. Scream's gone in their face. FNATIC now. Oh, this is so brave. Doma wants to force him away. Scream just gets out with his life. The flash. He's just managing to avoid these bullets. I have no idea how he's gone away with that.
He's still one off the blade storm as well.
He still needs more.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right, well, early trade-off. I mean, you got to say both utility... Yampi. 3 people staring him down. To say early trade-off wise, utility and damage goes in FNATIC's favor. See here is, again, very slow and methodical in approaches. Just looking for a couple of opportunities, at least information here. Who's that though? Soulcast got himself tucked all the way deep on A long. Now he's going to hear that trapwire as well. That could give it away. They think that they're securing the flank here. It's pulled the rotation. That trapwire alone, Lauren, has pulled them over to A site.
Oh no.
30 seconds
Yampy
The smoke as well is going to secure it.
Screaming for support here. He's now noted at least 2 players coming through. Tags are coming in. He is in danger. He has to back away, give up the site. FNATIC now stride forward. He didn't fall back that far. You don't get complete freedom. But now here comes the rest of the team. Keep in mind there's still that Cypher playing through by Garage. Spike plant comes out. You're going to have Sova tucked in towards the box. Where's that first contact going to come from?
They gave it to Domer as well. He's got to run it back here. They actually gave the plant to him to get his ultimate online. That could be a huge tool in this post plant.
Yeah, mine's now. Link going to find 1. That's going to be a rifle now recovered. FNATIC down to 4. Yampy desperate to clear that back box. It's going to be Boaster sat towards it. Durka now, though, does find Link. That's a good catch. And now it's going to be looking pretty dire. Scream, Soulcast, you're going to need to go big or it's time to go home. 13 for FNATIC in the end.
What a crazy decider there. FNATIC just digging deep and pulling that comeback together, honestly. I mean, fantastic. I want to watch that round again. Like I said, just the key bits of information. And unfortunately, I mean, it's a straight gamble, right? You play off that audio cue, and I think that's exactly what happened, right? They hear the trapwire. They think that that's an attempt to secure the flank, right? For an A here. The smoke comes through. That paranoia is building constantly. It sells the fake perfectly. Just a really, really well played second half from FNATIC after, I got to say, in my eyes, fell a little short in the first half. I was expecting a little more from them coming out. I'm fortunate to kind of have the tempo changed a little bit of that half switch over, but yeah, they went out. I mean, I used the phrase earlier on in the broadcast, war of attrition. That's what that final map felt like.
Yeah, I'm kind of impressed at this point that we got to see a breeze. I mean, it feels like it was an entire best of 5 at this point. You know, like this feels like we just went through the ringer. And again, I think it just proves that this matchup, this FNATIC Liquid showdown, is going to be a constant one, right? Like it's going to be there. I believe that we do have. Is it player of the match? Is it ready? Let's